Welcome to the Guide in Your Pocket tutorial to setting up a fly line, where we'll cover all the connections from the fly reel to the fly. Connection number 5, connecting the fly to the tippet using the uni knot. In part 4, the previous part of this mini-series, we learned how to join the tippet material to the leader material. Now all that remains is to join the tippet material to the fly, thus completing our connection from the reel all the way to the fly. So, 2 knots I'm going to show you are based around the uni knot. If we're going to tie on a dry fly, as such, which you will recognise for trout fishing, sometimes for salmon fishing, this requires just a uni knot. It's very simple. We go through the eye and draw the line through. Then, pinching the eye of the fly and the line together in the left hand, we're left with a tag, a tail. In that tail, we then make a loop behind, which if you've seen the previous programs, you will see is quite a common theme right throughout all the knots I've been showing you. All we need to do now is take the tag and go through the eye 3 times. So we go through once, twice, and 3 times. Then we draw it down to a little figure of 8, so it's not drawn tight quite yet. Then, as with joining the tippet material to the leader, we need to wet it so that it lubricates and doesn't make the knot brittle. Then slide your fingers, gripping both the tag and the main line, and as soon as the tag is released, you have the main line only in your hand, and by drawing that, the knot slips down to the fly and tightens up, leaving you with a nice neat knot. Cut the tag off, and there we have it. Fly connected to the leader via the tippet material, nice and secure, and with no mess leading up to it. I will now take this one off to show you a variation. If you're fishing a wet fly, as it swims through the water, it needs to swim in or under the surface. In order not to have the fly skating, there's a particular way it needs to be tied onto the line. This is applicable for salmon fishing and also for wet fly fishing for trout. So we take the fly in our left hand, forefinger and thumb, we take the line and we put it up through the eye. You'll note that the eye here is angled upwards. Now we drop the fly down the line, and now we make a loop, leaving this loop round your little finger, then add both sections to the pinch in your forefinger and thumb, and then we start to recognise the process. Once again, a loop round the back, so that we have the line going in, back round, behind, and left with a tail. This tail goes through once, twice, 3 times. As with any uni knot, draw it down to a loose figure of 8. We then need to wet that and draw it down a little bit tighter. Now this is where we take the fly and we lead it up the line with the tag outside. Okay? We then pass the fly through the loop and we draw the loop taut. Okay? Now that loop goes back behind the head of the fly, just here, and then the tail is clipped off. What this means is that as the fly goes through the water, the line is keeping the fly tipped down, which means it won't skate across the surface. I hope you've enjoyed this Guide in Your Pocket mini-series. Be sure to check back to guidingandconservation.com for future fly fishing tutorials. I've been your host, John Rippin. Until next time, take care.